Welcome pedalers to another pedal preservation video. And this is not going to be the normal video because it's February. And what does February mean? Cheap Bike Buildoff 2026. If you're not in the know what Cheap Bike Buildoff is, it is a content creator inspired competition to build a custom bike within the budget of $175, or in my case, £130. And you have to build a bike for that amount. And the bike parts have to be sourced. For example, you buy yourself a second-hand bike and all the upgrade parts that you're getting for it must be branded parts. You can't use cheapy knockoff stuff from eBay and AliExpress. So typically, you're going to be using a lot of second-hand parts. Now, the way that the rules work on it, you can't game the system. So if you think, well, I'm going to get a bike for free and then I'm going to buy these bits for it. No, everything has to be accounted for as though you went down to your local bike co-op and bought everything. So any parts in your parts bin, any gifted parts from other cycle friends, you have to price everything and the total mustn't come to more than £130. I don't know if you remember, but I competed on it last year with the bright green Saracen. Great bike, we got that in under budget, and I think we got through to like the quarterfinals on it. We eventually did get pipped out at the end, but we did quite well, and it was actually my first well-received video that we did on the channel. I think it was my first video that got over 10,000 views. So I would very much like to repeat that. Now, where I need your help is, I've got two bikes to do for Cheap Bike Buildoff. I've been trying to hold on to stuff, so I've got two bikes. I've got this beach cruiser style bike, looking a little bit patina. Now, it's not an actual classic bike, it is actually a modern bike. It's probably like 20 years old, but it's a modern bike looking like a beach cruiser that is a bit worse for wear. There's a lot of rust on it. Maybe customizability is not going to be as good as a traditional bike, but I'm sure we could do something with it, get it looking good. Alternatively, we go for the more traditional approach, which is this sort of bike, your sort of classic 80s, 90s mountain bike. In this case, it's a Hard Rock, Specialized Hard Rock GSX in a nice sort of metallic red color. We could definitely do some pimping with this. We could maybe swap out the forks for some suspension forks, a better cockpit area with a proper stem, etc. As I say, we've got all those upgrades, we've got parts, I can source parts, and we can account them into the price. But what I do is I need your help, because I want you to tell me what you want the video to consist of. Am I going to be customizing or more restoring the beach cruiser, which will not have as many upgrades on it, or do we go for the more what you expect to see on the channel, the 80s, 90s mountain bike, getting lots of things? So far I have sourced a nice set of orange Marzocchi forks, which will tie in well with the graphics on the actual bike itself. We've got those, and I've also got, remember the Rally Max we did a few weeks back, and it had the sack shifters? Well, they're lovely period correct shifters. If anything, they're actually a little bit more modern than the age of this bike. We could get them on. We've got the RaceFace grips that we procured a few bikes ago. These are the sort of things. So if you've got ideas that I could put into either of those bikes, so choose the bike that you would restore for Cheap Bike Buildoff, and then give me some ideas of things that you think, parts that I could, so as I say, you can't just say, oh, buy this, you know, one by Shimano Q system off AliExpress. You can't do that, and you couldn't put a one by conversion kit on the bike, because that would blow your entire budget. So you got to think very inventively. You got to think, well, we'll convert it to one by, but I noticed that chain ring setup, you can remove the additional chain rings and we could convert it that way and then sleeken everything down. That's the sort of feedback that I need. So choose the bike that you would restore in the Cheap Bike Buildoff, and then give me the ideas. And then over the next few days, I'll pick a bike, I'll go by your views and your comments down below in the video. And by the way, if you want to take part yourself in it, it's open to anybody. If you check out The Mullet Mechanic on YouTube and also Instagram, you can get all the details there. Now, today is actually the 9th of February, so the competition window for your build is between the 8th and the 28th of February. So you have to have your bike pictures taken, price list done, because as I say, everything is accounted for. So you got to think about, you know, oh, my bike, I got it for free, But if I was down my local co-op, that would have cost £30. So there's your bike, £30. And maybe you say, well, I'm going to swap the wheels out. There was a friend of mine gave me some cracking on-road tan walls. If I were down my local bike library, they would have cost me like £20. Boom, put it on the list. Let's say build your bits up. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're going to fit on some aftermarket cables or something, I don't think anyone to worry about that. But any major components, saddles, bars and everything, as I say, can't be knockoffs and have to be justified into the price list. And as I say, go on to Mullet Mechanic. He's the guy who started it all, along with other content creators from the UK, people like Second Life Bikes, etc. They've all championed this and entered. I entered last year. I'm obviously entering this year with your help, with whichever bike that you choose. But you too can do. You don't have to be a content creator. I'm just making the most out of it by creating a video about my entry, because ultimately the competition is finished by lots of photographs on a voting system, and it goes through your kind of like your quarterfinals, your semi-finals, and then your finals. And it's the public picking the bikes that they want. So the way it works is you'll submit your bike, and then in the first round, your bike will get put up against another bike, and someone will vote between A and B. And then the winner will go through to the next round, and then the next round, and the next round, just like the World Cup, something like that. So anyone can take part, and I will be taking part again this year. So if you let me know down in the comments below, and obviously subscribe to the channel, so if you want to see the first video rolling out, because today, as I say, I've got to probably pick my bike within the next week and get started on it, because I need to get the bike done. And obviously, being the Cheap Bike Build-Off, I want to put a bit more effort into it and a bit more time. I might even actually split, like last year, I split the video into two, and we even made changes along the way. So sometimes even when we pick something, get a curveball, scrap that, we'll have this. Who knows where it takes us. It's a lot of fun, so it's definitely worth subscribing and checking out in the next couple of videos with the Cheap Bike Build-Off 2026 title. But down below, tell me which one you want, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.